Whoa! All right, all right. Thinking, grab what does Dick Vitale call that? A Maalox smasher. Grab Maalox. Freaking take your heart medication because that one went to overtime. Tennessee scored 23 points and a half. How about that? Who knew? Who knew that was even possible? Frankly. Well, it wasn't a half. 17 points and a half and a touchdown in overtime. 23-17, your final score. The Vols beat the Gators. That might be nails for old Sunbelt Billy. They are not good. Tennessee is just a little bit better. I'm Charlie Burris. That is former Vols quarterback Jonathan Crompton. Whole lot to talk about after that one. And thankfully, we can talk about it as a win and not a loss. Oh, Cromp, what's up? Oh.
I mean, a win is a win is a win. So obviously proud in that fashion. But we got a lot to work on. I like no hype. I do like that he started getting Nico out of the pocket in the second half a little more. He is highly inaccurate from inside the pocket. It's just point proven. It is what it is. I do think we did what we had to do late in the game defensively to win the game. We are at this moment, we are 100% a running offense, and what keeps us going is our defense and run game. It's sure as hell not our pass game.
Is this 1996? Well, really, I mean, Peyton was, let's not besmirch Peyton there. Is this what? 2004.
Well, offenses were different back then. So statistics, you know what I'm saying? Back then, hell, honestly, even all the way into the early 2000s, most teams were still under center, quick rhythm, 5-step drop, throwing out routes. You had a lot of same concepts, but how statistics looked, you didn't throw the ball 50 times a game or 40 times a game for some schools. You know what I'm saying? So no, I know what you mean by that. That's not taking a shot at anybody that's playing any quarterback back in the 90s. That was just the systems.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a more old style of football. But what you did see was a little bit of hope for the offense. Of course, I mean, Dylan Sampson build this entire kingdom around Dylan Sampson right now. He is a dude. Yeah. He's a certified grade A dog, and you got to just get that man the football. He just won you that football game. I mean, he was every bit of that. That final drive in overtime. And a couple of nice little dump off passes by Nico. He did what he had to do. But yeah, I mean, Dylan Sampson all day, every day on Sundays too.
No doubt. Man. I mean, just to answer this comment real quick, it said, why we not try to win in regulation? Well, we did. Nimrod was wide open across the middle, and he completely missed him.
Yeah,
could he have maybe made a miraculous catch? It would have been a damn good catch. Like, it would have been a fingertip, kind of tip it to yourself type deal, running wide open. At that point, there's 16 or 17 seconds left. He had a legitimate chance to get in field goal range, honestly. And they even said that on the broadcast. That's the throw you make to be that next caliber quarterback.
Yep. And I mean, look, I don't want to put it exactly this way because you just won. And we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this game realistically. You didn't play well, but you beat a Florida team that it's Florida. These guys have plagued you every which way possible. It's a cursed game perpetually, and you beat them for the third time in the last 20 years, and you got to take that. You got to run with it. I mean, this is worth its weight in gold. And I don't want to be negative. At the same time, DJ Lagway at the end of regulation, he made the throw that you would wish Nico would make. I mean,
that's what I'm getting at. This. You're right. That throw he made was the exact same situation that Nico had. Nico
at Arkansas. Yeah.
No. I'm talking about tonight.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's true.
That he missed Nimrod on.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, there's so many great comments and questions right now. I'm just kind of skimming through because obviously we got to get to a couple segments. But first one real quick that stood out was, do I think they need to make change on the offensive staff? I wouldn't go that route, no. I don't think it's coaching. I don't. I think a lot of play style has to do with it. That's just an opinion.
Yeah.
And then the other one, completely agree with this. And I don't have an answer, so I'm also asking this question too: is why in the world is are Brew and Thornton not involved in the pass game?
Where?
That was the question. I'm asking it back to everybody because I agree with the question. Like,
where
why
are
are those two not involved in our pass game more, like they used to be?
Yes, there's so many perplexing things about all this. Obviously, you had another scoreless half, and you have to reconcile with that. That has to stop. You didn't have a scoreless half since before last week, since the Pruitt era, and it wasn't even Pruitt's last year. He didn't have a scoreless half in his final year at Tennessee, which was abject garbage. I mean, it was 2019 the last time Tennessee had a scoreless half of football, and you've had it 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
That's what I'm getting at. Is statistically speaking, last year's team was more high powered than this year's team.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm not talking about player for player. I'm talking about strictly stats.
Yep. Yeah, this is so tough because you have to talk about it in two ways. It's so good to be Florida. Like,
oh yeah, totally.
They are the bane of Tennessee's existence in football, and this guy has beaten them 2 out of the last 3 years, and he's 2-2 overall, and fair enough. But I mean, the fact that the only guy that's ever been able to do that in the modern era was Fulmer back in whenever he did that. He did beat them a couple years in a row, one time I think, and Heupel has now done 2 out of 4 here, and that's huge, and that's amazing, and it's great that you leaped over that hurdle that, has just been a curse on Tennessee for all this time. Awesome. Also, you have to talk about this game as it was. You have to approach this game and actually give it the discussion that it deserves because you played terribly on offense. The defense needed what they won you that game in some sense in OT. I mean, incredible set of downs in OT. Also, they gave up that touchdown at the end that tied the game. But, at the end of the day, 17 points given up and, a couple of really nice turnovers. And they did what they needed to do, just like last week. They did what they needed to do. Last week, you couldn't score 20 points.
Well, and this week you
scored 23.
Yeah, and anybody that wants to sit here and be like, oh, why are you giving up at 3rd and 18, blah, blah, blah. Guys, we gave up 17 points to an SEC team in today's modern era football. We should win that game.
Yes, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, with our offense, if our defense only gives up 17, we should win that game. Point blank.
Yep.
And no, you don't want to give up that throw in that situation. That's not what I'm getting at. But, like, we don't need to sit here and I don't think anybody has. I'm not saying that. I don't think we need to throw shade at that last 3rd and 18. Don't think anybody has, because I'll tell you guys, we're not even remotely close to end this game if it weren't for our defense. And I think everybody agrees with that.
Yeah, you're blown out. You're blown out if the defense doesn't play.
Our defense is legit. Our secondary is light years ahead of where it was last year. Our front seven is phenomenal.
And this was the defense without Keenan Peely. One of your best guys went down.
Yes.
He was on crutches on the sidelines. I hope that it's not what it looks like. But, I mean, the defense, I just cannot bring myself to complain about the defense with the way that the offense looks. Like, I just can't. Yeah, were they perfect? Absolutely not. They were not perfect. They gave up that horrific touchdown right at the end. That stinks. But they turned right around in overtime, made the plays they needed to make.
They came out in overtime.
Yeah, they were dogs in overtime. And so I'm not going to complain about them almost at all. Not that they need a 100% pass. I mean, you do kind of have to say they weren't perfect, sure. But the offense is everything here. And let's break in really quickly here. Oregon just beat Ohio State. Talking about, I think we've talked about on the show just how hard it is to win on the road. There you go. Ohio State, with all their, gobs and gobs of talent that they have, they still can't win the big one. So,
I mean, like I said, we played well enough to win. I mean, but in reality, Dylan Sampson was 20 yards away from outrushing their whole team.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole thing is like our defense played what we only gave up 222 in the air. Like it wasn't like we played a really good defensive ball game overall.
Yes.
17 points. It was just a play here or there, but that's going to happen. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're playing an SEC caliber team, that's going to happen at some point. A play here or there. The thing that I didn't like to see is we didn't make the plays when they were there. They did. That's where my frustration comes in. I'm ecstatic that we won. Hell, me and my wife were in the living room jumping up and down. I'm ecstatic we won. Anytime Florida loses, especially when we beat them, it's a great day. Another Angel gained a set of wings today. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel.
Yes.
But just in the realistic mindset of, well, we got Alabama next week. Yeah. We've got a lot to clean up in that sense. We did not. We had. I'm shooting in the dark here. Four passes over 25 yards that he just completely missed. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: last year, and I'm going to throw this at you, Charlie, just because I like confrontation on the show. Last year, you were dogging Joe for overthrowing him. Where's the dogging at now?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready to dog Nico Iamaleava.
I just want to throw shade at you. There was no other reason why I said that. There's literally no reason why. I just wanted to do that. But no, and I'm not saying that because he's a young man that is uber talented. He really is. But guess what? Talent only takes you so far. We have to make the play because the Lagway kid at Florida is also uber talented. He showed a very promising upside tonight. Very promising. And what I think a lot of people need to be concerned with is if they get rid of Napier, if Lane Kiffin goes to Florida.
Ugh. Well, I don't even want to start.
He can do, I'm just because that kid is good is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I had not watched much of him at all this year because I don't watch Florida. Watching him tonight, I was impressed with him and his gamer-like skills, just extending a play.
Yeah,
understanding when to move in the pocket. That Nico, and I say Nico because he's the quarterback. I don't think it's actually Nico. I think it's our system. We're stuck in concrete in the pocket. We've said that for 4 years.
Yep.
That's what. So it wasn't Hendon. It wasn't Joe. It's not Nico. That's the system that's what they're taught to do. I've always had an issue with that though.
There's a lot to unpack as far as that goes. Cause I mean, you can get down into the holistic philosophy of what Heupel does and whether you agree with it or not. I don't know that I necessarily want to litigate that, but as far as Nico goes, he's shown plenty of promise, and where I'll always push back with everybody that's like, oh, he's just Jared Garantano, he's just Joe Milton. The primary difference to me with those comparisons is does he look that way? Yeah, to whatever extent he does. He has not been playing well in the last 2 games. Really didn't play all that well at Oklahoma, but he did, way more than enough for you to win there. But he's a redshirt freshman, and those guys were in like their 7th year of college when they were making terrible plays. So maybe, but hope is not gone.
See, in college football nowadays, you can't say that. Look at Travis Hunter. He's been doing it since the freshman year. No,
believe me.
DJ Lagway.
No, look. I know.
So to me,
you could go down the list.
Listen, to me, that is a voided argument. If you're the starting quarter, if you get named the starter, it doesn't matter your age.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
You get named the starter. It doesn't matter your age. At a certain point, listen, guys, on my high school team, I'm starting a 14-year-old right tackle because he is you want to know why? Because he's a grown-ass man. It's that simple. And watch this. What did I tell him after the second ball game? You ain't a kid no more. You're a man now. Now let's go act like it. So what I'm trying to say is when you're named the starting quarterback in the SEC, it doesn't matter if you're a 17-year-old freshman, a.k.a. Williams at Alabama, or a 24-year-old sixth-year senior. I don't vibe with that argument of why you're giving him a pass.
it does matter in this case because you don't have another guy. I mean, you don't. Like if you had, let's say that this was last year and you decided to start Nico over Joe, and Nico plays pretty close the same way that he's played now, you would go like, okay, we got a guy that's in his 5th year of college in the wings here. Let's see what he can do instead. I think that would be a natural move. But here, it's not like you got another guy that you could say. I mean, technically,
I'm with you.
I mean, you have Gaston Moore.
No. I'm not.
Like, you're not going to start Gaston Moore over this guy, and so you have to say like he's going to get better, because I think he is. I mean, I think he is going to get better. He's just not at this. If you were talking about this kid at this exact moment, he is right there with your Joe Miltons and your Jarek Garantanos, and you don't. You play Alabama next week. You don't play Alabama a year from now.
Oh no. Well, I'm on the same page. But what did we say all offseason? Go get a proven veteran quarterback in case we need them. We've said that.
You preach that. You preach
now,
that. Now,
granted, we're not in the quote unquote war room. So I'm not saying that I'm right on that. I'm telling you what I would do. You always got to have to win a championship, as sure as hell in the SEC, you've got to have your number 2 is another number 1. It's that simple. But bottom line is, we won the game. We're just being critical because, one, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
We're supposed to break down the game and go over the good, the bad, the ugly, and the fact that we've got Alabama next week, so we need to make sure we're ready.
Yeah, because you watch that game that we just watched, and Alabama lost to Vanderbilt, and they nearly lost to South Carolina today. They're they're not world beaters like they have been with Saban. At the same time, you watch how Tennessee played today, and you go, "Ooh, that one might be ugly." Like that. If you go out and you have a scoreless half against Alabama, you know what they're not going to do? Only score 3 points. You'll be down 20-0 at halftime. What'll happen.
You know what I would love to see personally? I would love to see a set with Sampson and Bishop both in the backfield.
Yes.
And that's just me thinking, like, because I think they're both, one, Sampson is Sampson. He's a dude. He's our workhorse, all this stuff. But Bishop, hey, he's no slouch either. If we put those two in the backfield and just got a little, I'm going to say trickery, but it's not trickery. Bring back the old school Nebraska triple option days out of the gun, Air Force out of the gun with those two. Ooh, like, hey, that would be dangerous. Because Nico is athletic as hell. You do a little zone read triple option, get him on the edge, and get Sampson as the pitch guy. I'm digging that.
Look, dude,
I'm just trying to get Sampson the ball in some way.
I mean, genuinely, Evan White says it here. Like, Sampson, he's not doing numbers like Ashton Ginty is doing numbers, but what's he at now? 12 plus touchdowns on the season. Yeah, I mean,
if tonight's are included, he's 91 carries, 587, and 12 touchdowns, averaging 6.5 yards a carry.
Not bad at all.
I'm assuming tonight's game is included in that.
Yeah, I mean, he is your dog. He is your workhorse. He's the dude you got to lean on, and he's Sampson, along with the offensive line, is where everything has to generate from. That's your engine. That's where you go from, and then you can open things up with Nico, because Nico can make those little intermediate throws, and he can dump off pass. I mean, he did it on that final drive in OT. Like the small things that you need to do. Clearly, he needs work on the longer stuff. That hurt my feelings tonight. I really, some of the stuff that he showed in those early games with long balls was really encouraging, and it's just gone off the rails. Honestly, not totally sure why. It's obviously different competition, but Nimrod wide open. Was it Squirrel White wide open? Nimrod on another one wide open. Like, what are we doing? Make those passes. I don't know what to tell you. So
because here's what's going to happen, and I'm here for this in this sense. Teams are going to start crowding the box a little more because they're going to go, oh crap, we got to stop number 6.
Yes,
and we got to stop Sampson. That's a good thing to have said. And so we're going to have to make plays in the pass game. Do I think we're going to? Yes, I do. I'm being overly critical because I know we have the ability to do it. That's all. I know it, guys. I'm telling you, I've said it, and I'll die on this hill. Big Ten Jeff, hadn't seen him in here tonight, and the reason I say that is because he's tried to call me out on it. We have one of the top 2, maybe 3 deepest wide receiver groups over, like, collectively. I just want us to get the ball in their hands. I don't care how. I don't care how. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter to me. Jet sweeps, tunnel screens, smoke screens, hell, just straight go routes. It does not matter. When the ball's in their hands, it's electric. That's all I want to see. And I think we're going to do that. I'm just trying to be critical on, like, why we're not doing it. But I think we're going to.
Well, and this one right here, this is another one I want to see. Mike Matthews over Chaz Nimrod, or Mike Matthews at all. You don't necessarily have to take Nimrod's spot. That is who it would naturally be over, you would think. But
see, I don't think Nimrod's done anything to deserve that.
Probably not.
Or at least tonight. I'll say tonight he did.
But you look at your Jeremiah Smiths, your Williams at Alabama. Who there was another one today that I was watching, freshman that was making great plays for somebody. I don't remember who it was. And I was like, I mean, let your dogs be dogs. Get this dude the football in his hands. And see what he can do. He made a spectacular catch in one of the snoozer games earlier in the season. And go see if he can do that for you. So there's plenty of stuff here. And again, I keep having to stop to say we say all of that, and at the same time, I'm ecstatic that you beat Florida. That really is. It really is great that you beat Florida. That's the worst part out of all this. Why didn't they just play well the entire game and beat Florida? Because Alabama is on the rise. You can't ignore this stuff.
I've said it before, and I will say it until I'm blue in the face. An ugly win is better than a pretty loss. We won.
Yeah.
We are 5-1 going into Alabama. We're 5-1 going into Alabama. That's tremendous. So to me, like I said, I'm just being critical because I think our offense has too many weapons that Heupel's not using. And I don't know what it is, but that's why I'm critical. It's exactly right there. Ohio State just had a pretty loss. We don't want that. I don't want to go out there and throw for, I don't know the stats for them, but 320 and run for 180 and all that stuff and then lose. I would rather have a win any day of the week. I just really want to see I want to see some consistency. And when we play the best offensively, because once again, we know we are predictable. We are. But how do you beat your own predictability?
Yeah.
Go super quick. When we go lightning fast, that's how, because the defense is on their heels. I wish we would go back to that more.
And I have wondered this. The rule change where the clock runs in this year's college football, I wonder if that has influenced Heupel to play a little slower, because he's like, if I go blast speed and give the ball back, like that's just, I have less possessions now. I'm just genuinely, in some sense, I'm hurting myself a little bit by scoring so fast so often, or however he would be thinking about that. I've wondered if there's a little bit of influence there, just a theory, because it has seemed like he's consciously slowed it down. I think Nico can run this breakneck. It seems like.
Oh no, I agree. I totally agree. But if you notice, he slowed it down a lot last year too, though. He
did. That's true. Yeah.
And we were hoping. Remember, we talked about this. We were hoping it would go back to what we're used to this year. And maybe you probably are right about the clock. I just know when we do start to pick it up, you can see, especially tonight, when we started going quicker, you could see Florida go, oh crap. You know what I mean? But that's where our option routes do come into play, where we have time in the pocket because the D line's tired as hell. So, that is our advantage. I don't know. It's just that's my 2 cents on it. I really do wish we would pick up the tempo, and it doesn't have to do every drive. If the defense was just out there for 15 plays, obviously let's have a common sense moment and go, probably shouldn't go lightning fast in case we go 3 and out.
Yes.
But if they just got a 3 and out, maybe hey, let's go. Let's try to pick the pace up, stuff like that.
And I haven't paid that close of attention to see what the tendencies are. Is like, do they go faster after a defense, after the defense gets a 3 and out, or like that? We'd have to go to some stats nerds to see that. But let's go here before we move on to Alabama and kind of talk about that whole deal. Again, you beat Florida. That's awesome. Yes. Also, Alabama's on the horizon, and for a pretty good chunk of this game, it didn't look so hot. But Tennessee does win.
They didn't either, though.
That's true. In some sense, I would bet that Florida fans are happy that they lost that game.
You actually may be right, because that may have been the nail in the coffin.
Yes, it really might be, because if you're a Florida coach, you can't win, or you can't lose 2 out of 4 against Tennessee. I mean, it's with the history there. But let's go to this. I'm very interested to see what people say. We got a ton of people watching. Drop into the comments and give us one word for how you were feeling after Tennessee's 23-17 win over Florida. Just one word. That's all we need for how you're feeling. Cromp is going to give his. I'll give mine. For just how you are feeling at this point in the season. It's a weird one. And maybe that's your word. Weird might be your word. But we'll read everybody's comments and talk about ours right after I tell you about the good folks at Farm Bureau Health Plans. Farm Bureau has been serving Tennesseans for over 75 years. Much has changed in Tennessee over the years, but some has stayed the same. Farm Bureau Health Plans has always valued personal relationships, especially when it comes to good health and good service. Plan on Farm Bureau Health Plans for health, dental, and vision. For better coverage, better rates, and better service, go to fbhp.com/ATOZ. We're walking to one of their 200-plus locations across the state. That is fbhp.com/ATOZ. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Huge shout out to them. Good folks. Sponsor the show for a long time. All righty, let's see. Again, everybody, you can drop into the comments one word for how you are feeling after Tennessee's 23-17, wild 23-17 win over Florida. I'll just read a few here before we go to your Cromp. 7 games, says David.
Yeah, I like that one.
He jammed it together into one word. Jonathan says whiskey. I feel that. James, exhausted. Eric, hopeful. Brett, relief. Whew, I feel that one. Tony also says relief. Ethan says stress. A lot of relieved here. I'll throw it to you, Cromp. Your one word for how you're feeling.
Excited, because we're 5-1, top 10 in the country, and we haven't played our best football yet.
It's true.
Like that guys, that's a good problem to have. We have yet to play our best football halfway through the season. We're 5-1. Now we're going to be up near the top of the SEC in rankings, right? We're in the top 10 in the country. We got Alabama and 2 more, so 3 straight home games before we go to Athens. That's why I said excited, because once again, an ugly win is so much better than a pretty loss. We're finding ways to grit it out right now.
Yes.
And that's just what it is. Somebody said, how long does it take to play best football? You never know. I have no idea. You really don't know what your best football is till at the end of the year, but I can tell you at this point, we haven't played it. I'm not counting Chattanooga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we are finding ways early in this SEC schedule how to grit out moments defensively, offensively. But the thing, we're hurting ourselves. Nobody is stopping us. We're stopping ourselves on both sides of the ball, O or D. If they get a big play, if you go back and watch it, maybe we're just, out of coverage for this zone or whatever. Like, there's a lot of little things that go into it. That's why I'm excited, is because the future is bright.
I really do like the element that they are gritting out stuff. Obviously, they did it against Oklahoma. They did it tonight. I think the main thing I would like to see as far as that goes is at the end of the fourth quarter there, time is running down. Tennessee did get the ball back and just more anemic offense. Figure out a way to run the football and end a game like that. Like we haven't seen them do that yet, where they just take a stranglehold on it. And I like that they can grit stuff out in these moments. That is always encouraging, but that's the step I want to see taken, and maybe you get that chance against Alabama. Hopefully you blow them out or something like that. That would be fun, but I don't know if I'm going to get that lucky. Speaking of lucky, Jacob says lucky. Ethan, all in one word, he says, O-line needs work. Relief from Evan. Asim, relieved. a lot of relieved. John, uninspired. Server says, shocked. Headache from Dylan. Hesitant, says Alex. Ben Hall says, annoyed with Charlie. I'm sorry, Ben. You are spending your time watching this show. I don't know what to tell you about that. Lackluster, says Steve.
I honestly, I enjoy Ben's comments sometimes because, like,
he is very pressed.
I like to get confrontational on here sometimes because it is fun. Okay,
he's very pressed by the fact that we aren't on here just like with balloons and having a party over the fact that Tennessee beat Florida. We have to talk about the entire thing. It's literally what we're paid to do. Bewildered, says Darren. Drunk off Jim Beam, says Pat Rose.
Well, I saw that one.
Spastic from ND. Concerned. Uninspired. W. Deflated. Loyalty. From Triple X. That's an interesting one. Loyalty. Nervous, says Kyle.
You know what? Hey, no, that's the best comment I've heard in a long time right here. Cameron, I want the old Heupel back. Foot on the throat Heupel. This new conservative guy we have had me worried. I like that comment of just, I said it last week. I said it with Buck. I'm not going to say it again, but it involves a certain body part you just gotta drop. That's it.
Throw them on the table.
Hey, and I'm saying that like it. I agree with that comment, Cameron. I do. I think that's a great way to look at it. And I don't know why we're being conservative, but we're winning, so I'm not mad at it. But I want people to fear playing Tennessee again.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I want people to fear coming in Neyland. Now, our crowd, you could hear it on TV. Our crowd was electric tonight.
Oh, it was
great.
They
were electric tonight. But I want people to go, I fear going to Neyland, not because of the crowd, because of the team, but damn, the crowd makes it even worse.
I want it to get to the point where Alabama specifically, because they've just lived on their little, golden throne for so long. I want them to look at going to Neyland like, oh God, like crap. We have to go to Neyland. These guys are going to beat our head in. That is what I want. I want truly to have this environment strike the fear of God into people.
Yeah.
And specifically Alabama almost more than anybody. But
well, you know what? Hey, and this was a text that we just got, and I think this is the definition of what I want. Now, not necessarily this scenario every time. 4th and 3 on our own 11-yard line, going for it. I'm here for that.
I loved that.
And situational, I get it, but I'm here for that, for the fact of that says my dudes are better than you. You know it, and I know it. Let's do this. That's the hype I want to see all the time. I'm not saying like go for it on 4th and 3 backed up. That's not my point. But just that ballsiness to say, I'll take my guys 100% of the time against you any day of the week. You name the place, the time, right? And whoever you want to bring, and let's do this. That's the hype I want.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say another one just because this just happened. Vandy just beat Kentucky on the road. Was it?
Did you not listen to me last week? Buddy's a gamer. I've tried to tell you.
Bobby is a dog. Grade A dog.
I'm just saying. Bobby, he's playing better than our guy right now.
I do not want to be walking into Vandy. I mean, that's still going to be a Tennessee home game like it is every single year. I do not want to be walking into the Vandy game being like, oh, but what if Vandy nothing? We should beat Vandy by 50 is what we should do. And that's not how it's going to be this year. I can tell you that much because they have that guy running point for them.
I tried to tell you.
Yeah. So, well, I never gave my one word. I'm not totally sure exactly how I'm feeling right now. I would say uncertain, just uneasy, very maybe I have a few words here. Very happy to be Florida. It's great. Some of my best friends are Florida fans. I love rubbing it in their faces. It's so fun. Because Florida can take a long walk off a short pier. But at the same time, just uneasy. Just as I said, I I think you have a guy in Nico who in time is going to continue to grow, but you play Alabama next week. You don't play Alabama a year from now. So let's get it together. And
Yep.
and you like you have to look at it realistically. So I'm just like a little conflicted, a little uneasy. So I'll say uncertain. That's my word. And now let's for the final little stretch of the show here. Let's turn to that Alabama game as we do most weeks. Cromp, we got to talk about next week. 23-17 over Florida. Not the most inspired football that we've ever watched, but a win's a win. I just your first kind of 1,000-foot view of this Alabama game. How are you feeling?
I mean, I feel all right with it. I've said it the past couple of weeks. The only thing that scares me defensively is a very mobile quarterback because it affects our scheme. It is not about the players, but the scheme it affects because you have to adjust to it.
Yep.
You got to either take another guy out of coverage to have a spy, or you got to essentially lose a rush defender for a spy, in some way, shape, or form. And Milroe is athletic as hell and can throw the football, and so he is the definition of a true dual threat, right? But this is not Nick Saban, Alabama. Okay,
It's not.
Let's just call that like it is. This is not Nick Saban, Alabama. Hey, they won today. Cool. Kudos to them. Because if you go back and watch that tape, dude, what's South Carolina's quarterback's name?
If you didn't ask me, I would know.
That
I can't think. The guy with the rec specs. I can't think.
But either way, whatever. Right. So but on the last play, he throws the pick.
Sellers. Lenora Sellers.
Yes, Sellers. That's it. Right. He throws the pick in the end zone. Well, he had his guy on the sideline for a first down open. He just needs to take it. I think he got a little greedy. Otherwise, South Carolina's got a really good chance of getting field goal range. Now, I'm not hating on him for that. I'm just stating Alabama is not Nick Saban, Alabama. It's really that simple. It is that simple. Defensively, all right? Let's go team stats tonight. I don't know what they were. We'll find out. Total yards. South Carolina 374, Alabama 313. Okay, no, don't wrong. South Carolina's got some good DNs, right? But South Carolina out total offensing them. Like, come on now.
In Tuscaloosa. Yeah,
correct.
I mean, that was
it's one of those that I'm not. It's not like it's like, oh my God, it's dude, Nick Saban defense, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and by the way, then last week, Vandy, 418 yards of offense. They're averaging now you go with that, they're averaging right at 400 yards of total offense given up in the past 2 games. That's my point. It's like, I'm not worried about all this. Our crowd, whenever they did the thing with SEC players asking the stadiums they didn't, or even in the country, didn't want to play in, they're like, kneeling.
So loud.
It's a different environment. And hey, we are 5-1, right? Alabama is 5-1. We're both top 10 in the country. It's going to be electric. That's going to be the difference maker next week. They're nothing to write home about and go, oh my God, everywhere on the field, there's a first-round draft pick and 4 deep behind them. This is not Nick Saban anymore. I know it's only been a year, but you can tell a distinct difference now.
You definitely can. They don't have that edge. It's kind of what we're wanting to see out of Heupel. Saban always had that edge where you could be playing them so well and you could have such a great game against them, but you always just had that tick in the back of your brain where you're like, when are they gonna shut the door on us? There was just always that because of Saban. And I don't think that they have that with DeBoer. And maybe in time he's that guy, but that is clearly missing because they are living on a razor's edge. They lost to Vandy, and they should have lost to South Carolina today. Catastrophic turnover late in that game by South Carolina, or else they very well might have won.
They had an actual chance to win the game. They did.
They absolutely did. And I say that as somebody, I think Shane Beamer's a clown. And, I am no fan of South Carolina. They had a real chance to win that football game today.
They did. If you want to know the truth, I think they should have won that football game.
Yes, they should have.
I do.
If they had a guy with a winning edge at coach, they win that football game. So I'm, as far as this Alabama game goes, I'm excited now because thankfully everything is still on the table for you because you pulled this Florida game out.
Yep.
If you beat Alabama, you are in the catbird seat for a playoff, for a run at the playoffs. Because you can lose to Georgia, I believe, and still make it to the playoff. The trends are almost pointing toward a 3-loss team making it into the playoff. I don't know if it'll end up that bad, but
I don't know.
I think two losses is the key, and 2 losses to have it not be a catastrophic loss. Arkansas's borderline. Georgia would not be bad. And so beat Alabama. That has to be 1A, and it's very doable. Milroe is a mistake machine if he is not locked in. He was locked in that Georgia game, and he can make some really spectacular plays. But when he's off, he is way out in left field.
Early,
he
I don't know what point of the game it was. Oh, no, it was right before half today. Right before halftime, he just blatantly threw off his back foot, kind of laid it up. Interception gives South Carolina a field goal. Right before half.
Really bad.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're not the Alabama under Nick Saban. And in my opinion, I think they'll be back to Alabama of my high school years when you go, Bama, because that's how I've always thought of Alabama. Because literally growing up, it was saying like, it's Alabama. They under the Shula years, you're like, dude, this is not very good.
I pray every day for their downfall. Every single day. I am asking God to bring them back down to earth. I just in general, I don't want to give too much of my take because I have the show on Monday. Myself, Zach Reagan, we have the Big Orange podcast Monday at 6 p.m. We'll be right back here where you're watching this show on the A to Z Sports channels. I'll give my full take, preview, prediction, but this one is right there for the taking, even despite how you played. And I love that point that you made, Cromp. You haven't played incredible football up to this point, and you're 5-1. You're still sitting there with a shot. It really, it should be 6-0. That's so frustrating that it's not. But whatever, you're 5-1. Your best football, I think, is still in front of you, and no better time than now to break it out. Play to Nico's strengths, and this game is right there. And like you said, switch it up. Figure out every possible way to get the ball to Dylan Sampson. That's the goal. That is the goal.
I just want to see him and Bishop in the backfield.
Please.
And something. Because they're both Sampson's a game changer. Bishop's a bruiser. Sampson's a game changer. Just any way you can get him the ball. And we got to get Brew back involved.
Yes.
I think the last board that I saw, Brew was top. He was like number 5 receiver in the draft next year at the moment. Get the kid the ball.
He has, in my opinion, physically, he's in his best shape. Like, he is in better shape than he was before that injury. And we need to take advantage of it. You have dogs at wideout. Please use them as you can. And I would say this, if you need to go back to 12 personnel, if If Alabama throws something weird at you, do that too. Whatever the adjustment is that you have to make it work, fine, because you made that work against NC State, and I don't care if it's 3 touchdowns by Miles Kitselman. Whoever has to score the touchdowns,
Yeah.
make it happen. That I do not care, and I think it's in there for Tennessee, but this will really be a true test of Heupel's coaching mettle. I think like this will really be, can he pull all the pieces together in the moment when it truly matters? Because he doesn't have Hooker to go out and just take over, be that guy. Hooker and Jay Hyatt and in Alabama in 22. He doesn't have those exact guys this time. Can he pull everything together and put the puzzle together here? Because the pieces are there.
Yeah.
Can
and
he do it?
I agree with this comment by Ethan. Says, honestly, they just need to move Sampson around, give him a small route tree in the slot.
Yes.
Like I agree with you. Like, get him matched up on a linebacker in the slot in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Line him up at a wing back. Now you're almost guaranteed to get him against a linebacker. Those things. I'm 100% with you. 100%.
Ooh, LSU just scored a touchdown will that be to tie extra point to take the lead? I think that's a tough one for your boy Kiffin. Tie game if they make the extra point. Sorry.
Oh, nice.
Was doing my math wrong. It's so tough to win in Death Valley at night. What are you gonna do? But it's there for the taking. So I'll ask you this, Crom, before we get out of here: is Tennessee gonna beat Alabama next week?
I think so. I do.
I hope so.
And
how does it go?
And I'm not saying that because I'm a homer. I'm saying that because I see how good our defense is playing and how not so great their defense is playing when it comes to yardage and the plays they're giving up. So I think they're very susceptible to big plays. We just got to connect, right? And then our defense has to have the same mindset it's had all year: bend but don't break, and make the plays when we need to make them. And I agree with this comment by Lee. It says what makes Lee mad is when we put the pedal down and then we take it off. I know there's certain things that come into play of why you have to throttle back, but I do agree. Like certain situations you have to, but a lot of the time, let's just go. Keep going. Like, put more pressure on them. I agree with that, but it just, I think our defense is better than their offense, and I think our offense and their defense kind of equal out.
Just go, man. If you have a guy who beats Florida 2 out of 4 years and beats Alabama 2 out of 4 years, the way that I will be walking on water. I mean, with the Alabama game, you got a bye week the next week. I don't care how you have to do it. Just have more points than them when that clock hits zero.
Dude, it doesn't matter if it's a 2-0 game from a safety.
Nope. I watched in person. I don't remember what year this was, maybe 2007 or something. I was in person in Starkville, Mississippi, to see Auburn beat Mississippi State 3-2.
There you go.
One of the ugliest football games in the history of this sport. But you know what happened with 3 points for Auburn? They won the football game is what happened. Exactly. And I don't care how it comes next week against Alabama. That is just, I want it so badly. Bring Alabama down to earth. Make them the mortal they deserve to be.
I think their descent down has already started because the last 2 weeks
feels that way.
Now we just got to once again, we got to play Tennessee football. Go play our game. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about our opponent. Don't worry about who we play, where we play, when we play. Just play our game.
And pray that Nico will practice some deep balls this week. We got to connect on those. All right.
No, we'll be good.
Anything else for the folks at home before we bounce, Crom?
No, just thanks for watching and all the comments. It is hard to get to all the comments because there's so many, but we do appreciate everybody. We love interacting with you. It makes this job so much more fun. So just keep commenting. I promise you, we do see them. We try to get as many as we can, and let's just get ready for next week. Get a dub.
Yeah, tons of fun as always. I mean, it's always last week wasn't the most fun I've ever had. It's way more fun when Tennessee wins the football game, I will say.
Way more.
Tons of fun as always. Thank you to everybody who watched, commented, tunes in. We literally could not do it without you. Subscribe, hit the like button, do all the things. We love y'all. Truly. All righty. It's Big Orange Podcast, Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in there or wherever podcasts are sold. That's it. All right.
And get us an over-under on your disclaimer at halftime.
Ooh, that's true. I'll have to measure.
I need a prop bet.
Yeah. Time-wise before next week, how quickly I can read the.
Yeah, I need a prop bet. We got to get this going. They need to actually make that a prop bet on their website for us.
How quickly Charlie Burrs reads the gambling disclosure at the end of our ad. Yeah, under 3.5 seconds. All right. Well, yeah, that is it. Thanks again for watching, and we will talk to y'all next week.
See you guys.